Hoops, guys. We're back, baby. And thank God I'm back because I don't know if anybody watched the perfect game last night, but Nez clearly doesn't know where the buttons are to log off. If anyone sat through the perfect game last night, the guy just left the studio, left everyone hanging. So the host is back. But let me bring in the hoops guys here because the brigade's been on one recently, boys.
We've been hot, man. We've been real hot. Just seeing the field real clearly, just getting visions sent to me from a higher power, letting me know what the plays are. And I think we've got some plays today as well. I'm excited to go through the slate. And many are saying I did a bang up job last night.
Love it. Love it. Many are saying, yeah, your mom, your dad, your wife.
Great job, bud.
Oh man. Yeah, actually that looked like a lot of fun. It was too bad I couldn't get in there. I mean, that price tag just too rich for old John Boy's blood. I couldn't swing it last night. I had some family stuff going on and we were at dinner. So I checked in for a couple rounds there. Checked in for round 3 and 4 just to make sure that the right person was taking Luis Robert. And yep, the smartest guy in the room, baseball, takes Luis Robert. So no surprises there. No surprises there.
It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, how'd you guys' teams turn out? You like them?
I do. I like my team a lot. I went like a 0 pitcher type of build, and I like the pitchers that I grabbed. I started with Blake Snell and then Charlie Morton as like my SP 1 and 2, which are guys that I just think if they're healthy, they can rack up a lot of wins, which is important in that format. And all my bats look good, and I got a lot of Pirates. So of course I feel fantastic. Finished with the 7-6-7. Numi had a pretty good team too.
What was yours, Numi?
Yeah, well, I rolled the, no one runs pure than good old Numi. So I got the 101, got Judge naturally. And then rolled, I was real bummed as, if you saw the tweet today of not only 10 minutes into the stream, I'm already going like this. I got DeGrom taken from me, from good old baseball himself, which by the way, was just truly epic that, he was in the draft. Fun surprise for Nez is we kept it under wraps as he was basically he traveled to another. I'm not gonna say what I said to in his DMs, but he traveled to Montreal and came back, was in the draft. We're sweating like the last, like basically is it gonna randomly snap Phil and then he's not gonna be in the stream draft?
Oh,
and,
right. Yeah.
I didn't know he didn't load 2 up, so he's sitting not in just in 1. He didn't load up an extra 1 in case. So that was a fun sweat along with like just
to get in the lobby.
Yeah. So
so that was the first ever fast one, right? Because they've only been slows up until this point.
So I mean, unless there's a fast one that I haven't seen, but
no, there's no way there was.
I don't even know how many total lobbies there've been. I've been in 9 perfect games, so I've probably been in around most of them. There's probably 2 or 3 that
I think there's been 2 that have gone without you.
But I mean. But yeah, I did my typical, large or like early pitcher as much as I could. I took Aaron Nola, Luis Castillo, Gilbert. You weren't there for. I have now capitulated. We are a Tony Two Bags pro stream. We are good.
This is big. This is big.
The exposure in the last like 10 dingers is 100%. 2 more. I've got them in my last 2 perfect games and in the slows. So we have capitulated. Yeah, cheers to that.
Wow.
But I'm still taking happy batters.
Wow. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I didn't know that. That's a big win. Yeah, that's a big
way to
win
start off your
team
Monday morning, right there. You were right.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have a hell of a week, man.
Yeah, and I hear Nez talking about the we and the Badge Brigade. The we and the Badge Brigade have been having a good one. It's been you two and the Badge Brigade. I'm sitting over here with the Will Smith like we. What do you mean we? Like, yeah, no, it's been a struggle bus. So I will say anything I say today, just fade it. If I'm gonna come out here and say I think Anthony Edwards is a 0.01%.
That's the wrong energy, man. That's the
we don't need that. We don't need that.
We're gonna reverse fade. I've reversed jinx so much. Right now, we're gonna try and reverse fade me, and hopefully that works.
Because this is the classic "you're due" narrative. Coach is like, oh, we got that scrawny 9-hole hitter up there who only plays second base and right field, and it's like, oh man, the game's over. Oh shucks, and then boom, Numi hits a double into the gap. The he's due narrative. The he's due narrative. We're rolling with it today.
All season, baby. No one expected this.
yeah. He can't even hit his weight, and boom, off the wall out of nowhere. Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming, Nimmy. You have to be open to it. You have to expect it.
Yo, big shouts here. Nez took down. It was Saturday night. I thought that was mine in the bag. I'm not gonna lie. I got off the ice. I checked. It was halftime of the last game. And the reason I checked is because Crutches tagged me in the Discord and said, no one runs purer than this guy. Like, what the hell's going on? And I think I was in third place. Nobody had minutes remaining around me. And I had THT left with a full half of basketball. And I was down like 7 or 8 points, something like that.
I was sitting at $30 winning with the winning lineup. At that point, I didn't think I had a shot. I didn't think I had a shot.
Yeah, and then THT does absolutely nothing in the second half. He basically sits the whole second half. I looked back at it after, but I was driving home from Puck, and I put because I got the NBA TV or whatever, I just put it on my phone and ran the audio through the car. So I was listening, and then there was like a minute
car sweats
left.
Are the best. Sorry, real quick, just need to say car audio sweats are the best. Go ahead.
Dude, honestly, hashtag never sweat. This is so degenerate. So I'm coming down the highway that, like, from the university, and it's just like kind of a stretch of highway that like looks over like a cliff or whatever. And I fucking dip off to like the side of the cliff and like watch the last like minute and 15 on my phone like this in the car just to watch a THT turnover. And then the following possession, a swat from Walker Kessler, and watch myself go from first to sixth or first to fourth or something like that. And I was like, at least I lost to Nez, but like, what the fuck? Hashtag never sweat.
Man, it was crazy. Like watching, I went and looked at like the popcorn machine of basically like, and that's just like the game flow of that. And like he just starts 1 of 6, basically nothing. He had some rebounds and steals. It was the second quarter that really helped out THT. And then I was like, I'm like, same thing with you. I went and looked. He did Jack basically diddly it basically didn't get any run in the fourth. And then it was just the run he had in the fourth quarter was a turnover basically. So
well, he did nothing. And then the run that he got in the fourth was 1 layup. He gets the layup and it moves me to first. All he needed was a fucking layup. He finally gets a layup. It moves me to first. And then all of a sudden the turnover, the swat, the whatever. And then I look back and I drop like 6 points and Nez is at the top. But
oh man,
GG's Nez, GG's.
Yeah, that block was everything.
Beautiful lineup, man. The Lowry and Kessler. I loved it. It made me so happy to see in there because I saw so many people passing over just not getting that combo because they felt like it was. I mean, maybe I don't know, but like that was beautiful to see. Both of them just down the stretch, just coming. I mean, that lineup went from basically kind of nothing. I was like, I saw you down there, like it was lurking, but it's like you really needed them to go off, and they did it. And it's like. That's fun.
Yeah, I honestly like didn't have plans of like shooting the moon with this, right? Like I didn't draft these 7 lineups thinking like, holy shit, I'm about to take down like I got 3 in the top 20. I was not expecting that.
Like, incredible.
Yeah, no, but the one thing that I did know, and I told you guys, I was like, this is like a Kuzma slate. And there's just times, man, in these hoops drafts, like for whatever reason, the sentiment in these lobbies sometimes just like is like missed. Like I don't know, man. Like Kuzma against the Kings was just a smash. I don't know, and he was there in the 5th. So I got my lineups in. Like I had my swap set with Melton. Like man, thank you, Nikolai. You're even more goated. But yeah, that was fun. I'm looking to do it again. But shout out the low volume bros out there. I know bros and the bros and gals. We know there's of which there are many of us. You can do this thing on low volume. It's possible. So don't be intimidated.
Be smart about the construction, right? And that's exactly what you were. You isolated a couple spots that you were undervalued in the market, and then you flipped like 2 ADPs that wouldn't normally be on the same team, right? Mm-hmm. Because the Kuzma one you had to reach on, and the other one you had to push back or whatever. It's
Melton good. Shout out. You know what I mean? Like he says it, even though Maxi's in his winning lineup, like if you look at your other lineups that you had like close up there, like that Melton, like, I don't know. And I think Tobias they all were kind of close. So in terms of 6th round, they were all close.
I wish Tobias, blew up harder or, busted harder. But
that was a beautiful shout out because like we get so isolated. Like I feel like when it comes to swaps where everyone's like, it needs to be maxi and all this, you could have just put all 3 of those guys at the top of your swaps and just had a great night. Now, granted, we looked at the total and all that, and there was other swaps that ended up that were better, but I mean, or like on paper projected better, but they were like basically right up there. And you do my typical look where they're at in projection. It's only like 2 points off technically these other guys. And like, who's to say, like you take Harden out, that's a big deal. And yeah, that was
look at Austin Reeves last night.
Exactly. Right? That's my boy too, by the way. I called out Austin Reeves on like Wednesday, and I was like, "Hey man, he's hooping a little bit, and he's getting some run, and now he's hooping like with the full healthy team. Get him in a good matchup, man. Just plug him in."
I want to touch on this for 1 second because you know how I like to talk about the macro stuff, and I love it. The hashtag never sweat is both a joke and something that I truly believe in. I honestly, I don't really like, I watch sports because I love sports. I rarely sweat the games in which I have like quote unquote action in because like it's pretty detrimental for the mental health. Right. And I want to talk about it in this vein. Wednesday night, I had a really nice night on Wednesday night. I went out with my parents for dinner. I was like, yo, I'm not going to watch anything like that. I told Nikki, no sports tonight, whatever. Just enjoy the night with my family. Well, 2-3 pops later with my old man, I go to take a leak and I go, yeah, maybe I'll just check 1 second real quick. Right? Maybe I'll check. And I look at the fucking thing and I'm 1st, 4th, 5th, 8th, and 10th. And I'm like, and all I see beside my name is like 28K or something like that. It was like, like something like this, right?
Oh,
and
I God.
I go, oh my God, how much better would my life be if I just never looked at this, right? Because then I go on and I have like an okay night. I finished 2nd, 4th, and something else. I have a great night by normal standards. But if I had never looked at it and never seen that like 28 dimes beside my name, and then been like, hey, bartender, can I get that Warriors game up in the corner TV here? And now all of a sudden I'm having a conversation with my family and my eyes are going up, but then I'm talking and then my eyes are going up.
Oh man, and you're buzzing, right? Because like you're like, oh, I got a potential 28K, and you're like, wow, John, like, did John do a line in the bathroom? Like, he's so happy right now. Like,
he's buzzing.
Like, what the hell did you do in that bathroom? Like, oh my God, no, it's so true.
It's all perspective, right? Because if I'd done something else that night, right? Like I just go to dinner with my family and I don't even have my phone, or I go to the gym, or I do something constructive with that time, that live life time. And then I come back to my phone and it's like, oh, I won $2,000 or I won $4,000 or whatever it may be. You're so fucking happy because you're like, oh, my expectations were 0 and I went to here. All of a sudden, when you're on like that Sunday battle royale sweat and you see your name beside that 50K, like it's not for the faint of heart, man. It'll mess with your mind for like I lost that 50 dimes in the battle royale of NFL 3 times this year on like the last tail end of plays, and like that'll mess with your head if you're like watching and getting involved. Anyways, I joke about it, but it's really tough for people's minds, right? Like myself included,
I literally
obviously.
like can't look at the Justin Jefferson game log of last year. Like I can't do it because every fucking game, dude, he was putting up 20 every fucking game. And then I get him on the Mac Hollins team on the Mac Hollins day, and he disappears. Like it's not, I literally like block that out from my memory because it is not good. Like the human, like we always talk about like the human brain and the way that we're wired. Like we are not wired to see these things.
No, we're not.
These rush of dopamine and then like the letdown and like, oh my God, man, it's a drug. No joke.
Hey, Paul says the sweat's so fun for him. Yeah, says the guy who won the BR like 5 fucking times this year, right?
Yeah, that'll change your perspective.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Oh man.
No, I feel that. My biggest one was 10K in the afternoon slate. 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left in the Raiders. 4th down and like 30. I'm like, bet. Like they have 2 timeout, or they have 1 timeout left. I'm like, I think they didn't even have one. I counted it out. I'm like, if they get this stop, it's basically over, man. It's good. Locked and loaded. I'm so excited. It's week 3. I just won the afternoon slate. This is my jam. 4th and 31, broken coverage. Devontae Adams, like 70-yard touchdown. And I'm just like,
I remember it
I'm
like
still
it was
there.
yesterday.
I'm still there. I'm still there. Underdog updates. I'm going to go find the nearest highway. And I'm just like, this is the worst. So I feel it 100%. At that point, like, I get it. I'm always pushing back for the bit, like always sweat. And like, I think it for you, I'm always watching games. And lately I've been watching just March Madness, like golf and all that. Like, you want to talk about the worst sweat is honestly golf when you have anything going on. Like, that's tough. But I haven't had anything successful. So I've just been watching that. And then I'll just check, and you know what I mean? I'll just check and see where it is. And like, that's why I honestly, like lately I've just been going to bed pretty early, because I get up now fairly early. And it's like, I'll just go to bed, and before basically some of these like late games even tip off, and I'm like, well, there's a whole game to go happen. So I don't even know where I'm going to be at. So I'm slowly getting that way, you know, to get the sweat out of someone. It's tough. It's like you're breaking them down, but I do feel it. Like, it's definitely not, it's not for the faint of heart, like you guys say.
Yeah. The one thing I would add to that too is the time you put into the sweat is, you know, almost greater than the time you put into building lineups and creating rosters and stuff like that. Right. Like, if you spend, I don't know, call it 4 hours in a given day to, you know, you do the T-box thing, you build your projections, then you auto draft, then you do this to do it in that regard and do it at volume. I mean, you can't give up another 7 hours of life watching a double header every single night on TNT. Like, it's just not good for you. Like,
not to, you know, we're going to get into the slate and all this, but like you were talking about, you know, you had a great point on your tweet that Davis responded. I'm going to butcher it word for word, but it was basically like what you do to get away. He asked if you meditate, and you like, no, I like long walks. And he's like, yeah, I think. And then basically he's like, any way for someone to get away from it and get their release, like however it may be, like that's healthy. You know, you like to do that. Like, I'll turn on a video game and game with my friends for 3-4 hours, like late at night. And it's like, I'm not looking at anything. Nothing's going on. Like, I'm not worried about it. And like, that's my like release. I'm a young 26.
You have to.
It's like, I think everyone has, whether it's, you know, be with your family, go out, like, and then I'll watch a show for an hour or two with my fiance and stuff like that. Like, and then it all comes back to, I think this is great from Paul's, like, that's what I've been doing lately. Nothing like waking up, checking the winnings. Oh, you don't have that? It's okay. I got a DJ Pick'em locked and loaded that helped me out that night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the best thing to do. So I totally agree. Whatever you find, like, I've been slowly starting to, I'm audio books. I'm slowly starting to actually reading books. So
big turn. I like it.
We're touching books. We're touching grass. Like, it's
great,
my
God. Are we growing up? Are we becoming adults? Is this what adulthood is?
We're completely
wouldn't know what you're talking. Would have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, there's one more I want to add to that, where when I was doing the poker thing, right? Like, I would always have this running joke that it was like, I lost 2K for breakfast. I would say that every day. I would say, how's your day going? I'm like, oh man, lost 2K for breakfast. Whether it was true or not, like, I would just always, that was my running mindset, because it was like, I wasn't going to get so vested in, did I have a good session in the morning so that it affects my session in the evening or something like this, right? And I would every single day, like, and this is when I was like really diligent and grinding hard and living here, when I was doing the online thing, I would do no matter what the game conditions were, if I had a big fish, if I had a big, big heads up whale, any of that, I would quit at 1 p.m. every single day. I would quit from 1 to 3, no matter what. And I would go to the place called the Oval by me, where it was like a multi-sports facility. I would, no headphones, no music, no nothing. I would shoot jumpers, or I would shoot pucks, or I would skate, or I'd work out for, minimum, like, I'd be there for that 2-hour window, but I would do it completely detached for 45 minutes, like one of those things. Then I would, I'm not a psychopath, put the music in, work out, like that sort of thing, right? But like, for me, it was like, I needed that 30 minutes every single day, win, lose, good games, bad games. I needed that decompress, because like, we're not wired to have like these like flashing prompts in our mind. Like it's a pretty taxing thing if you're manually drafting Underdog and you're doing bing, 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 like all the time, and your mind's constantly working. Like you need some complete separation of like church and state from that sort of thing. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Hey, when I get when it finally warms up here in June, maybe July, I'll be able to go on my walks. I see you and your walks, dude. I there's nothing I love more like back like it than up here. It's just go on like a night. I love it. Like I'll put my phone. Sometimes I won't bring it. I'll listen to a podcast. But yeah, honestly, just walking and just hearing nature, going on a nice walk, and it's beautiful for an hour or something. You get detached. You feel like almost, and all of a sudden maybe you start thinking about something. You're like, oh wait, have I been doing that? And all of a sudden you start thinking, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, get that out of there, get that out of there. Yep. And I slowly let that come in at the end of my walk. And it's like, I feel rejuvenated, refreshed. So yeah, I feel it.
Yeah.
Can't wait for you to get warm weather, Numi. God.
RT99 knows where it's at right there. Like he's just drafting on beaches all weekend while hiking. Like that's the life balance right there. Jamming some at lock. Like I'll go take the dog out for a bit, hour walk, go to the beach, boom, fire up like 3 or 4 while I'm sitting there. Okay. Phone's away, walk back, like that sort of deal. What was this one about? What do you guys think of the Underdog projections versus high or low? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. That'd be a good little segue when we start talking about our own projections there. Yeah, I think this is a good one too, where Paul said like you just don't let the spouse in on the sweat. Never tell them the sweat. I would never say when I was, I'm at a final table, I'm at a whatever, like she'd be texting me like, how's the tournament going? Like whatever. I would never. Now, oh yeah, got about a starting stack left. Yeah, okay. Or like I would never get her high or low.
One time I won money and I told Bria like the next day, like midday, like, oh, by the way, like I won last night. She's like, what? Like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, because you were sleeping. She's like, you can wake me up if you win. So when I won on Saturday,
don't worry, honey, I'll never wake you up.
That's what I was like, yeah, well, you probably don't have to worry about it too much.
Whoa, what were you? That was like an Elmo voice. What's going on there?
Yeah, you never know. So I woke her up Saturday night when I won, and I was like, Bria, I won 4.5. Like, let's go. She's like, oh, that's awesome. And then like went right back to sleep. Like didn't even acknowledge it. I was like, okay, so that was pure BS whenever she said to wake her up.
Oh man. Yeah, puck sweat.
Always standing on your head. That's a great terminology.
I'm glad that I see Carlos in here. He says he loves this, and then have to say it again. I love this conversation. I'm glad that some of you guys like this is. This is what we envisioned, honestly, back in August. We just came here, shoot the shit. Like we're just talking about it, like and like rather than get right into the nitty gritty on a Monday. We have plenty to talk about. We're just recapping. Like I told the boys, for some reason the vibes are immaculate right now. They just feel great. I
think it was the perfect game last night. The perfect game set the tone. People were excited about the high dollar contest. It set the tone. It's a little carryover right now. But shout out Carlos because you don't even know. I always took down the early slate yesterday. Yeah. So good shouts there. Another member of the brigade doing well. I think Andy took down the 100 one over the weekend.
I don't think there's a better short slate player on the site than Carlos. He dominates every short slate.
2-game NFL, Carlos dominates. Yeah,
like, you don't want any piece of him.
He knows this, and he knows it too. Like that's his bread and butter, and he comes out, and I see more volume. I feel like on those shorter slates. So shout out Carlos for recognizing that and like really, really honing in. Like as I like to always say, obviously it's different. It's not a different. You're underdog, but you're a big fish in a small pond rather than being that small fish in a big ocean type thing. So
yeah, good point. Yeah. Good point.
I'm laughing at Paul. Sorry. He said, I bring it up to my wife and she never believes me. Like she doesn't. She's like, Paul, you're not sharp. Like, I know, there's no way you're.
I want you to leave the toothpaste on the counter every day.
The guy who cried.
There's no way you're beating these smart guys at baseball or fucking NFL. Oh, that's funny. Actually, Paul did a fun little one with, I guess he's maxed out. He threw out a tweet this morning, but he maxed out his big board stuff already and just did a covered up exposures. If anybody else has got high volume in some of those best balls, I think that's a really fun little exercise that I'd love to. I'll retweet some of those and share some of those if people start doing them. Share your exposures of your highest owned but covered up and make people guess or whatever. We'll help retweet from the Badge Bros and from that and
let us know.
Because I thought that was that was a really fun exercise. I thought, let's jump into the hoop slate. Let's see if we can keep this train rolling here. Yeah, let's roll. Let's do that. Okay, so we got. I'm gonna butcher the lead here because it's 6 games, 5 games, 6 games, 6 games, 6 game slate. Rockets only true back-to-back. Kings on front end. Rockets are basement dwellers right now, so I would be mindful of the midday, see what happens, because there's no injury report there yet. I expect to see kind of everybody we've seen. Numi put me onto it the other day that Jalen Green hadn't been getting home yet, but the minutes had been getting home in a big way. Hopefully that continues tonight. If it does not, there is someone questionable on the injury report from them that slipping my mind, like not someone that's relevant to our player pool, but could open up a little bit of minutes for Jabari Smith or Tari Eason.
I don't know who. I don't see it on the sheet.
Yeah,
so
I don't
have to look.
Yeah, it's not on the sheet. It's he's like a
Underdog.
20 minute guy. He's not part of our player pool.
Yeah,
okay.
Roger. Yeah, let me check here just to get that guy.
Free Bop.
Bop,
yo. Haven't seen. I told Bop if he came and he joined the YouTube chat and he was on his best behavior in the YouTube chat that he would be back. So it's good to see Bop in here.
Oh my God.
Love to see it. The trial starts right in this moment. Free Bop, baby. Free Bop energy. Let's go. I told you there was good energy today.
Baby.
We knew there was good energy today. Tate.
Man. Let's
Chip's
go.
smarter than all of us. Tate is the guy that might
that's
Sean.
Yeah. So might create a little bit of minutes there. Highest total on the slate, that late night hammer of Sacramento and Utah. Then the next one, pace up spot there where we're talking about the Rockets. Rockets are a lot of fun right now. And Warriors there. Warriors maybe without my boy Kevin Looney. Anyways, just macro view of the slate. I think it's all about whether or not Luka plays or whether or not the Minnesota guys play. My lean as of right now, I have no lean on Luka. I'm just drafting him because he's Luka. But I love Kyrie right now because I think Kyrie plays even if Luka plays. And I think Kyrie is priced appropriately right now with like that 6, 7, 8 ADP. And if he plays, he's worth that pick. If Luka does not play, he's worth like the 2nd or 3rd pick. And I think Kyrie might be slowly becoming hot take, my favorite pick on the slate right now.
It's interesting. It's interesting because obviously I think he has I don't know if it's obvious, but I feel like he has a better chance to play than Luka. I don't see why. I know he's questionable right now, but the fact that he played last game, they got a big dub against the Lakers.
38 minutes last game.
And they're pushing, and he was on fire too. He was like magnificent. They need him to play, and I think they're pushing for a playoff spot. And if they're truly trying to win games, at least one of these dudes is playing. I could see both of them. This is a tough matchup against Memphis.
Luka practiced on Thursday, FYI.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he didn't, and then he got ruled out. So I mean,
I know, but he's just like he's been leading up and practicing. I'm pretty sure he practiced prior to.
Yeah.
So
the biggest difference up until this point is even when Luka practiced, he'd be ruled out early. Tonight he's yet to be ruled out early. Right. He might be ruled out early when we get that first news dump at like 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern or whatever it is. He might get ruled out at that point in time. But yes, the practice thing was good. I had one other smart point with Luka though, and then I just forgot it right now. Cautionary tale. Jordan Clarkson. cautionary tale of practiced in full 2 days and then now has been ruled out twice. So just cautionary tale with reading too much into the practice narrative, because I was on 6-round Jordan Clarkson a lot. I mean, apples and oranges, but just thought process.
Yeah. Regardless, I mean, like, not financial advice. I feel like you have to take Luka. Maybe if you feel confident in Curry at the Rockets, like, I don't blame you there. Randall against the Timberwolves is also like a really nice matchup, but I would not full fade Luka Doncic.
Numi, where do you come out on Luka right now?
Oh yeah, I have all the Luka. So I'll be taking him. My stance is he plays, and he won't be limited at all, unless there's a setback in his injury. There's no reason you're not going to play Luka Doncic for limited minutes. You're gonna wait until he can play. You know what I mean? Like, if he's ramped up.
Yeah. Are you taking him 3? Bonus?
Okay. No, I'm taking him 3 just because that's the way it lines up. And I really like the Sabonis matchup at highest game total against Utah. So yeah, that's the way I'm kind of just taking it. If Sabonis is there at 3, I'll just take them wherever they are, 1, 2, 3. That's how I'm doing it.
There's a lot of moving pieces with the first round today. Like, more so than we would usually see, because normally it's kind of like set in stone, where it's like, hey, look at picks 1 through whatever is like set in stone. There's a lot of moving pieces here where, like, hey, what if we don't get why am I blanking? Lauri Markkanen here. Well, like, Sabonis, like, that's a bull case there, right? With the Luka one, what if we don't get Jaren Jackson Jr.? Like, and then all of a sudden you get Luka and no Jaren Jackson Jr. Well, like, Luka's the 101 today, right? What if with Randall, what if all of a sudden we get, or with Steph, is what if we go the other way? We get a bad news dump from the Rockets and they all of a sudden go, okay, well, we're in playoff contention, but we can also beat the Rockets without Steph. And they give Steph a little rest day here, or a little limited minutes day, right?
Stop.
No, well, okay. But, and then Randall, what if all of a sudden we get no Edwards and we get no Gobert? How good does Randall look without Gobert on the floor, right? So, I mean, Naz Reid's been questionable for multiple weeks. He played last game, but they've basically both been doing double Q tags for like 2 weeks now. There's a lot of bull case, bear case narratives just in this first round alone. And I think that makes this a really fun slate.
Yeah. 2 things I would like to say. I know we were kind of going through the injury report. Numi shared a really nice blurb regarding Anthony Edwards and his availability, that he has 2 games this week. 1 today and then 1 Wednesday. And then after that, he's out until, I believe, Sunday. So not like a lot of incentive for the Timberwolves to like rush him back if they can get all this extra rest before the next game. Yeah. So for my money, I'm going to let Anthony Edwards fall. However, if we get that rolling in, I'm going to feel really bad about that fade, just because it's a really big game against the Knicks. It's at the Mecca. I mean, I just don't think he plays. But if he does play, man, that can burn me.
My brain goes 2 ways, right? My brain goes, hey, Anthony Edwards in the 4th round can break the slate, right? It's the Garden. He could play at the Garden. He loves to play, right? Like, he wants that. He's circled this one on his calendar a month and a half ago, right? My logical brain goes, hey, man, they just traveled to Toronto. He was in a walking boot like 3 days ago. They have all this time off. They are right in the thick of that play-in game / maybe make the playoffs window. Let's get him healthy for a week and a half, and it only costs us 3 games of basketball, and then we go with him full bore when he's actually healthy. Numi, where do you come out on Ant?
Yeah, so he just seems like he could just be one of these superhumans. I mean, the story of him taping up his ankles harder than he, like, basically he taped up his ankles like more than he ever has prior to that game is something that's just weird. Like, he had an inkling.
Wait, give me some details there. Don't gloss that one over there. I'm not familiar with the story. What did he do?
I'll have to get it word for word so I don't butcher it. But it basically he taped up his ankles a lot more than he did. Like the report was before any other game. Like he put ankle tape on like his ankles like a lot before the game. I'm trying to like specifically find it.
Prior to the game in which he got hurt.
Yeah. So
interesting.
This is hilarious. There might have been just so happened to tape his ankles the night he turned his worst ankle than he ever has in his life. Like he normally doesn't tape his ankles, and he just so happened to tape it that game.
That's bizarre.
So maybe he avoided something like major then.
So that's the thing, and like, dude, he's out of his boot. Like, I agree with you. My first thought is like 4th round Anthony Edwards just seems incredible. I told you guys before, like my track record with me, I need to get in a good space because everything I say and think is going to be wrong. Like I'm thinking Luka's in for sure. Luka's out. I'm thinking there's a 0.01% chance Anthony Edwards plays. He probably plays. With that being said, like you stated, Nez, a road against the Knicks. They come home against the Hawks on Wednesday. They don't have a game until Golden State in Sunday, where they go to Golden State.
Man.
So that is you could potentially sit them out. But now I want to throw into this context that the Wolves are now on the outside looking in, and they're like in the play-in. So we went from being wherever we were, like basically firmly in that 6 to we're in the 8 and like. Yeah, and our Wolves. And now look at us. I mean, we're just a couple games, like we're tied with the Lakers, tied with the Jazz, basically for games back. It's truly incredible.
Teams that are trending up, by the way. I mean,
So we're without. So like that's where my that's the only thing I'm going to put in there is like I could see him just being like, F it. Like if I'm good to go, if I avoided something, if it's just an ankle sprain, like he could go out there and play. So, but I just feel like they sit him out. I really do. That's just my thought for it.
Like the injury looked bad, and like Bob says in the chat here that like he was screaming in pain. Like the injury looked bad. Like it looked like that might be season ender, and then the reports were that way. And now all of a sudden he's getting Q tags. It's crazy. It's just like this guy's built different, right?
That's the thing. He could just be one of the guys that's just strictly a built different type. Like his body heals insanely. Our medical staff could just be the worst medical staff ever. Like this is a bunch of different things, but
sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning towards he's being out. With that being said, if I can grab him in the late 5th, 6th, go ahead, sure. Especially if I can get him on the 6-1 turn, so I can get that first swap.
Yeah. I bring up the strategies, or I mean the standings right now to just like think from a macro level of like what they're going to do with rest and allocation of minutes and stuff going forward. Just keep in mind that like, Mavs are right in the thick of it. Warriors are right in the thick of it. So like some of these narratives with like players playing and players not playing, like this is going to determine, because a lot of these teams don't want to be in the play-in games, let alone feel they deserve better fates than a play-in game. So they might be pushing the limits when it comes to the end. Bulls kind of fit that, like Bulls and Pacers tonight, both like, we don't have a news dump on the Bulls yet, but like both of them, like who's playing for it, who's not, like, are the Pacers shutting it down? Who knows? But just like the way in which we think about these teams going forward for the next kind of like 2-3 weeks, because there are going to be some funky rotations if we're not paying attention to the playoff standings, right?
Yeah, I want to throw out this just really quick. Wednesday, home against the Hawks, is Anthony Edwards and Ant Jr. bobblehead night.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
There's bobblehead narrative.
And Ant has been quoted saying over, like, you can look at the quotes. He's like, dude, I'm gonna be out on the floor. Someone could be seeing the one time I'm gonna be there. Like, why are you resting back to backs and all this stuff? So like, I'm just looking at this. He goes, have to imagine he's gonna do everything possible to get back on the floor if he's not back Monday for the Knicks. So it's like,
oh god.
We're grinding those. We're grinding those micro edges, man. We gotta find everything we can.
That bobblehead narrative is micro edges for sure. Yeah. So, anyways, a bunch of Q tags on the slate here. Just some names and stuff to be mindful of. There are also some. My favorite game right now is Pacers Hornets, because it's just so gross. Nobody in their right mind is going to be watching it. And that is the game of the night, in my opinion. And there are some really good pieces there. One overlooked one that is not on this sheet with Q tag right now is Gordon Hayward. And I think if Hayward doesn't play, makes up some nice minutes for maybe a 6th round.
Where do you see Gordon Hayward?
Somewhere else. I can't remember. I think it might even be right on the.
Nothing on the site.
He's not on the site. Oh, that might have changed then. I was convinced
Charlotte is LaMelo, James Bouknight, Maladon, Cody Martin, Mark Williams.
Okay, I'm speaking out of my ass then. I thought I saw that one.
I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything because I mean that is important. That would be important for
I thought I saw
Kelly
that one
Oubre
earlier.
and folks.
Yeah, that was kind of my narrative where I was going with there. Yeah, maybe not applicable then. Yeah, Markkanen is interesting because they're, like we were talking with these narratives, they're right in the thick of that play-in game. That was a really big game versus the Lakers on Saturday night there that they dropped late. And then, or no, that was against the Celtics.
They beat the Celtics.
There was, shit. There was another one. It was earlier this week. I'm getting all my days confused. They played the Lakers earlier. Didn't they play the Lakers earlier that week?
Maybe before Charlotte.
We talking Utah?
Yeah.
Correct.
I don't see it. No.
Or it's coming up?
Yeah, don't see it.
All right. Forget me. Fade me. Anyone else you guys want to say to look smart, think smart, whatever? The back end Pacers guys? Yeah. Who you
got? For me, it's Jalen Brunson. I think we may not be giving him enough credit coming back to this Knicks team. They were hot for like 2 games when he was gone, and then like completely lost their legs and like completely lost the offense. And we're playing really bad basketball. I think he's like really helping reset the team, and for him to go where he's going, I think is correct. But I would probably slot him over DeRozan. I know DeRozan's really hot right now, but over against the Sixers, I'm not sure. I don't know that I can put him over Fox, but I think like Jalen Brunson's got like 45 like written all over him.
I like that shout. I mean, I've been kind of fading this middle Chicago tier. I've done a little bit of DeRozan, but I've kind of been fading this middle Chicago tier and pushing up some of Brunson and Bane and Rozier have been like my 3 guys that I've been kind of like pushing up over the Chicago tier, just because on the best of nights, I have no idea where the production's coming from with the Bulls, right? And now we get lowest total on the slate versus Embiid versus like we get a really bad spot for them. And maybe I guess we just keep going back to the DeRozan well.
That's what I wanted to, I guess we can touch on that really quick, is that game is very interesting. When we basically, so the Bulls have become a lot better defensively.
They're playing like better, like they kind of got fire under their ass right now.
Yeah, this is the 26th pace of play Sixers, 6 on defense overall. Okay. So in contrast to then the team they're playing is 16th pace of play, so 26th and 16th in pace of play, and then they are what I just said for 6th, and then the Bulls are 5th in defense. This is going to be a slog that you would think, but it's like where if there's going to be points are going to be coming from. I shared with you guys that blurb of in his last 5 meetings with Joel Embiid, Nikola Vucevic has not put up 40 points except for that one outlier in October where he put up 55. The recent trend was DeMar DeRozan was struggling outside the All-Star break and Levine was lighting it up. And all of a sudden it's kind of been the other way around, even though Levine has still been doing well in his last 4 games. I mean, DeRozan has gone and put up 54, 80, 46, and 48 fantasy points.
It's crazy. So man. DeRozan's on one right now.
That's the thing is like, it's a decision that projections will tell you, like when you put them in there and you rank them up, like they're going to be like, oh, that's way off of that. Like, and then you could do your typical if you look, he's 3 points off of ceiling. There's just, for me, there's higher upside guys I'd like to think there, but I'd like to think that these guys are kind of safe points that can maybe fall into more upside, just depending on if the game flow is a little bit better than what we think. So, one isolated sample, basically, like my initial reaction would be to just pick one of these Chicago guys and then hope that that's the guy you get.
That's the guy.
Rather than spread my net there and then continue to get other. I'll just say the guy that I've been taking in that 2-3 range over and over consistently is Miles Turner.
I like that.
It's the Charlotte center narrative once again. So that's what I've just been clicking over and over again.
Yeah. Yo, shout out baby Stevie, another winner over the weekend that we didn't hit on, part of the brigade there. Man, just so
Dubs
impressive
everywhere.
so impressive what everybody's been doing, sharing. And I mean, nobody's holding anything back. Everybody's freely sharing this knowledge in the Discord. Everybody is super complimentary of each other. Everybody is happy for one another to win. It's beautiful to see. And big shouts to baby Stevie there for getting a dub over the weekend too. Numi, I like where you're coming from with the Miles Turner narrative there. That other side of that game kind of looks nice though too, with PJ Washington and Nick Williams are free right now. Dennis Smith Jr. is free right now. Just some guys that I've been kind of clicking on or mixing in the 6th round there. Anyone else you guys want to say and or hit on and or talk about before we jump in a draft?
Let's just jump in.
Let's hop in. I do think as we enter these, some of these late round kings I think are pretty interesting for a full court press. They play Utah potentially without Markkanen, but I lean towards Markkanen playing. But with no Kevin Huerter, who's been putting up pretty good minutes for them. Well, not no Kevin Huerter yet, but he's questionable. I think he got hurt against Brooklyn. He only played like 6 minutes. I'm honestly not sure, but he didn't play against the Wizards at all. And good matchup against Utah. And there's a lot of good Kings sitting down in this queue, like Harrison Barnes. Plug your nose, grab him.
Barnacle of the Bay.
Keegan Murray and this dude Terrence Davis like came out off the bench and like tore it up. Like
Any chance for Nez to get a Keegan Murray reference in here? Any chance?
Yeah, I just picked them up in my managed league. They got a big week coming up. I'm a sweat lord over there.
Oh, I love it.
Ja is out today, which we kind of do, but it's conditioning. He could return Wednesday. So
wow, that's
suspended
quick.
8 games.
Yeah,
is that retroactive?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's what
but there was a note that he was suspended 8 games. Okay, so here's the first big decision point on the slate. I know Numi said Sabonis earlier. Nez, where are you on the Luka versus Sabonis conversation?
I think I'm pretty firmly Sabonis.
Okay. All right, let's do it then.
Yeah,
I was gonna go with the wisdom of the crowd there. See what you guys said. You guys both went Sabonis. A part of me is like, hey, any slate you can get exploitative on Luka, you just fucking do it because it's not Luka.
Definitely a strat, and I think both are viable. Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be playing volume, even if you're not, if that's your strat, you never feel uncomfortable until all of a sudden he gets the weird like Luka out. But if Luka's good to go, like you feel good about it.
Let's go. Bear case on that game. Bear case on that game is everybody's in, right? And JJJ's in, and they both are 2 teams that play slow, and Memphis plays really good defense. Then all of a sudden, do we even want Luka at that spot? I mean, it's Luka, but do we still want him as like over Sabonis if that narrative plays out? I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
I do. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm maybe a little less high on the Memphis D than you are. I know that they are like by the numbers a good defense, but I like attacking games in which the Mavericks are playing, and I think all these Grizzlies are pretty good picks. And if I don't know that JJJ, if he does end up getting ruled out, like I don't think that really does much for Bane. I mean, a little bit, but not like a ton. I feel like. But I like Bane a lot against the Mavs. I like all these Grizzlies against the Mavericks, honestly.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. And so does T-Box with you. T-Box has been taking JJJ at 12 and been taking Bane at like 13, 14, 15 range. Yep. I've been taking Bane in like the 14, 13 range. I've been really pushing up Bane. I really like that.
They are 23rd in defensive rate and 29 out of 30 in rebounding. The Mavericks.
The Mavericks, so, right? Yeah, nice. The Mavericks can't rebound to save their souls. It's embarrassing.
And then just to note on that Memphis defense. They are second in defensive rating and adjusted defensive rating. So, I mean, they definitely are a good defense. I think they're a really good defense, but it's Luka and Kyrie. Like, those are two guys you feel safe to say are pretty matchup proof, depending that ugly Dylan Brooks is guarding them. Like, I don't care. Like, it's Luka and Kyrie. Like,
ugliest guy in the league, by the way.
Yeah, Kyrie's guarded as literally the best handles that we've ever seen at one point in the NBA. Like, it's so I have a good feeling he can create his own shot against these guys, and same goes for Luka. You know what I mean? There's nothing to be said.
So Fox goes there. I've been taking Markkanen over the Chicago guys here, or you could tell me Rozier, one of those two, but I've kind of been leaving these two for the field at the moment. Which do you guys prefer?
I like Lowry.
Agreed.
Nez?
Yeah. I'm not.
Big
I
ass
think this
shotgun.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Against the Kings, I think we're getting a pretty nice discount because of that Q tag on Markkanen.
Agreed.
This matchup is beautiful.
I like all three of these guys. I tend to take Rozier over them. That's where my mind's at. Where do you guys come out on?
Just fine
Terry
with Terry.
for me.
Yeah, I'm just fine with that. Terry, Miles. Miles seems to fall a little bit sometimes, like if you can get him there. But yeah, Terry just seems really fun.
You kind of brought up once, Numi, about how Miles Turner like gets up for like big matchups. This to me kind of smells like a trap.
It does
against a really bad Charlotte team. Like obviously he could go just bananas because it's Charlotte and you just play all the centers against Charlotte, but Turner can trap card you sometimes and give you like 13 points, and it's just the most frustrating thing you've ever seen in your life when it's a layup like this.
I just but he's my I can't quit guy. I for some reason Miles Turner is a guy and then like
you love Hallie
kind of playing. Oh yeah, I mean it's just I love Tyrese Halliburton. I maybe I have an affinity. It's weird. I like them both. I always will click them over and over again.
The Pacers are like the Ford Field of the NBA.
Yeah, many are.
I love it.
Like,
is that the Coors Field?
No, that's true. That's no. So we're talking East Coast Coors is what I think we're trying to go here. So anyway, Mathurin, Duarte, and Isaiah Jackson all questionable. Don't know how many that fits into specifically Miles Turner's production and all that. Like I can look up all that, but it definitely helps. And like I just Charlotte against the center, like we noticed, especially with Mark Williams out, like it's going to be Nick Richards and whatever else they put in there. JT Thor, who's whatever, like PJ Washington, who I'm very in on the 6th.
Yeah, me too.
You kind of buried the lead when you mentioned that injury report. Who does that really open up minutes for? Is there like a scrappy point guard on the Pacers that if those players are out can like break a slate?
Yeah, I was gonna try and not mention him, but I guess no one's really in it except
TJ McDonald's.
Yeah, he's been a very healthy click of mine this morning.
Who do you guys like here? I've been pushing this up. You could twist my arm in doing the Anthony Edwards get ahead of it narrative. I kind of really don't like this range other than
I love Walker
and
Kessler. I mean, obviously he just won me some money.
All right.
I kind of do.
I do. Yeah, I do that. The one thing to note here, the guy on the turn, does he have a Q?
What?
Does the guy on the turn have a Q tag right now currently?
Like this player?
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So I'll just
but he took just ADP with all his picks so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's fine. And I was just wondering to know because like if we could have snuck in that Anthony Edwards there, we would technically be the first swap. So I honestly am kind of growing to take Anthony Edwards at that 4 if you have that 6.
No, we're the wrong side of the board.
We would be the 5th.
We're the 5th.
Yeah. You're right. So I had that.
We'd have to check everybody else.
Yeah. I kind of like pushing up Tyus here. You could twist my arm into Oubre. I really like Tyus Jones tonight.
I like Tyus Jones, and I will say he would be my pick here.
Okay.
And I like Clay against Houston as well. I think people kind of think of Clay as a one-trick pony, but he can fill up a box score for us in this. And I will say just on the Oubre Rozier front, I would be okay pairing those two together today.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's something that we avoid to a fault in these. And pairing up teammates in good matchups, like if it's just two of them, you can like it's something that people actively avoid. And I just don't think that that's smart to actively avoid two players in a great matchup.
Look at Carlos's winning lineup from the small slate yesterday morning. Granted, a little bit different, only being a 3-gamer, but he just did something that everybody else wasn't willing to do from the 1-0-1. He gets Jokic, and then he goes 3 Spurs. You know, he goes Keldon, Vassell, and Collins. And eats the Q tag. I mean, Collins was popping if he was going to play. Like he was like the 15th best or 14th best ranked player according to what I was looking at. I want to talk about the TJ McConnell a little bit. TJ McConnell came back from injury 2 games ago. We've seen him do exactly what TJ McConnell does, which is big fantasy point per minute production in limited minutes. He has been almost fully staggered minutes. Look at me bringing up charts here. Big hoops guy now. But if you note here, they've been going with the Nembhard Naismith start, and then McConnell hasn't been starting, and then he's been playing like those staggered bench minutes, end of the first Q, start of the second, end of third, start of fourth. And he's just been doing work in those minutes where he's put up 42 fantasy points and 32 and 40 in those windows of time.
Under 30 minutes, man.
In under 30 minutes. Imagine if he starts tonight, right? Like imagine
against the Hornets, dude.
Yeah.
If he's starting, he is no joke. Like 4th round, like we're probably talking about 4th round TJ McConnell with acid reflux in our throats as we say it.
Right.
But
exactly, no, that's exactly what's happening. Currently, peek behind the curtain. I did 20 drafts last night. I have 50% Desmond Bane and 50% TJ McConnell right now.
Wow.
And then my next 2 are THT, Kyrie Irving, and Tyus. Those are my next 5. So that's where I'm at.
THT is a big one. He's probably not going to be swappable, which sucks. Like you have to take him. And he's big leverage if Markkanen sits.
We could take the ADP of RJ Barrett. I haven't been taking him. I've seen T-Box taking him, which incentivizes me to be kind of interested. We talked up the TJ Washington. The chat is saying Tobias Harris night. Any names here you guys like, or scroll the F down? What do you like?
Pool party against the Rockets. Shit. We got rugged. The only thing, oh man, no, I don't want to generalize. But aren't there like really good strip clubs in Houston?
There are.
I feel like Jordan Poole likes to make it rain in the clubs.
I like
that could be a detriment.
That's funny, Nez. It's funny, Nez, because I don't know if you noticed there's a jersey I'm wearing as a little foreshadow.
Oh.
So I don't believe Poole. I don't believe Poole is going to be a factor at all.
Oh, I like it. It.
So interesting. Bob put up in the chat about Miles Turner's minutes. We'll say he had a sprained ankle and a back in his recent stints, because if you look at his game log, he had 2 games off coming back from that. They definitely could be in tank mode. They definitely might just be incentivized to play him. Hey, 28 minutes. The thing about Poole is, unless those guys are out, brother's barely getting the run. They don't want him. Like they literally. I just have a feeling. I just don't think they like Jordan Poole there.
Well, they don't.
They don't.
They don't. He's out of necessity.
It's just there because they're just like, brother, we need bodies, and you're. But they just, as a person, they're just like, yo. That's just what I've been reading and listen to podcasts. But like, yeah, I Poole's interesting. I would rather have that Clay. Basically, Clay's been falling to the back end 5th and sometimes 6th. So I'd rather take Clay there because he just basically it just feels much better with I hope everything's good with Andrew Wiggins, but no Andrew Wiggins there makes Clay a lot more appealing in these. Highest team total against the Rockets. Like they could blow out the Rockets, but we know what the Warriors are like basically on the road, whether who they're playing. Their road record is hilarious, whether that is attributed to the teams just having unreal 3-point luck. Like the teams are shooting over 40% from 3 when the Warriors come to town, and that's just a weird stat. So it's something that I heard. So it's just interesting. But when it comes to
that factors into their defense. I mean, all their game totals have been really high.
Yeah, I mean, definitely factors in the defense. But
did Kyrie Irving go 4? Holy shit!
Yeah. I mean, okay, so let's say we get Kyrie in and we get Luka out. Like I said, I think Kyrie is the 102. That's my projecting of projections. If X happens, Y occurs. That would be for me. I think I would see if I was auto drafting at lock, I think Kyrie would be my 102 if we get the Luka out and whatever. So honestly, like getting ahead of it by a couple picks and getting a unique combination of it, not crazy. Probably not what I'd be doing this early in the day, but just something to think about. I kind of like, I don't know. You guys make this pick.
Fox is it for me, but Numi, you can overrule me.
Let's do Fox. He's been struggling. I mean, if you just do the box score watching, which I really don't care, that it seems like a trap. When I start looking into box scores and going, oh, well, he hasn't done this. It's like, it doesn't matter. This is a new slate, isolated game. You know what I mean? In terms of it, highest team or second highest team total going against Utah. It just signed me up. I'll take the Fox blow up game at any point. You know what I mean?
And speaking of box scores, Christian Wood right now sitting with a pretty frothy ADP of in like the 20s, right?
Yeah, kind of buried that entire thing.
Yeah, that's a good one to bring up there, Nez. I really wanted to go there as well. Christian Wood with 25. We saw him start playing some more minutes, and we know he's a good fantasy point per minute guy. Defensive liability, good offensive numbers, 28 and 34. One of those games without Luka and Kyrie, the other one without just Luka. What are your thoughts there, Nez?
For me, it's like we know, or at least what we thought we knew before these two games, was that Christian Wood was like on the ban list for Jason Kidd and this team. They just didn't want to play him. He's disparaged in our comments. He's disparaged by Numi as a player. People just don't like Christian Wood. Well, back-to-back games of them getting run, and he's playing, and he's shown good stuff. Could there be a philosophical change?
Yeah.
I don't. They didn't have anyone to play the fucking basketball game. They needed Christian Wood to play.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving was back, and he was in, and he played 34 minutes. Like, who else was?
Miles Turner. Are we in agreement here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just Luka Doncic is. When you put Luka Doncic on the floor, you're going to have to be staggering. You're going to have to tell me that Christian Wood's going to get the minutes. Christian Wood's going to be staggered without Luka and Kyrie, because like you put those two on the court at the same time, everyone else becomes irrelevant unless one of them unless Luka and Kyrie are just, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They're still going to chuck up. Like Luka's going to be at the end of the first quarter, 3 for 11 or 7 for 11. He's still going to get his. I don't know. The Christian Wood thing is the biggest conundrum to me. If he gets the minutes, then I think he's a good play. I think he's a perfectly fine play. I don't believe in the minutes. I don't know. It's tough.
That's the thing. Is like,
so two things. Let's make this pick. I like both of these players, and I don't think it's a debate for anyone else. Do you guys like Jalen Green or do you like Rudy Gobert?
I like Rudy.
Let's just go Rudy.
Yeah, I think these Q tags with Rudy are getting insane, but I think he plays tonight.
Shit.
Yeah, I think he plays tonight in the Gardens because this game, A, means so much to them, and B, I think they're without Ant. And then right to I got it. Numi, I know how to make content. I got it. I said we're going next here with it. Okay, so while you guys are having the Christian Wood conversation and disparaging the good name of the minutes of Christian Wood, we get some breaking news on the Luka situation. And Luka is now not much optimism to play. So does that change your guys' perspective on Christian Wood? Does Christian Wood now become a good 4th or 5th round pick?
So here's the thing. Two sides to this coin, right? On one hand, from like on any other given day, like he's an auto fade when he's not coming off of these back-to-back games of him like seemingly getting more run and establishing some more trust in him as a player by the coaches. He's an auto fade. He's playing against the Grizzlies. He's going to get like 19 minutes and like 12 fantasy points. It's going to suck. But now he's playing 34 minutes. Kyrie Irving's back. The team is like playing for something. They're playing to get into the playoffs. He's for me, like it's so soft to say. It's like a fade at your own risk. Personally,
so,
I mean, like,
so are we taking Christian Wood right now? Have we capitulated to this is Christian Wood right here?
Oh, dude, I think. Wait, hold on.
Might be the end of.
Who's left for the Jazz, dude? Oh,
yeah.
THT
So
goes, son of a fucking bitch.
Yeah, so Stash Ride is ahead of the other piece of news, which I was trying to tell Numi not to say yet. Is big. Lauri Markkanen's out. So THT is now going to be solidified as kind of this third or fifth rounder, and Stash Ride, quality player in his own right, is all over it right there. Yeah.
Damn.
So he goes ahead there. Some of that 6th round THT is looking really nice right now. Is there anyone else? Let's make the pick and then say who or what we want to get ahead of. Otherwise, you could turn my hand into Buddy Hield, PJ Washington. I think Hield's kind of just like a nice play as like, hey,
I like Buddy Hield.
He's starting. McConnell's not. Maybe it's just Buddy Hield shoots the lights out night. Wow. Yeah, what's your guys' Numi? We haven't heard from you in a second. What is your knee-jerk reaction to the Lauri Markkanen situation?
Walker Kessler, THT, THT.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway downgraded to questionable with an illness.
I mean,
did it just become Hardy night? Did it just become Hardy and Wood night?
So here's the thing with
Kyrie
with
die?
Yeah. With Kyrie back, they literally just like threw Hardy in the fucking trash. It was insane. However, with Hardaway out as well, I think that does kind of create room for Hardy to get in there, but it definitely seems like they like Josh Green more than Hardy. But I swear, dude, it's really not rocket science to like play your good players. And like they just like to not play Hardy at all when Kyrie came back was like the dumbest. Like Jason Kidd should be fired like before the season ends, but he won't because him and like Cuban just like hand in hand. Yeah. Oh, dude, he knows his job's safe. He literally is in press conferences like with no urgency to win games. He's like, if we lose, like it's what happens. It's no big deal. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you guys are the Dallas Mavericks. Like, this town loves that. Like, it's insane. It's insane that they don't give Hardy more run.
Yeah. I like that.
You don't want to hear my take.
No, go with it. No, we do want to hear your take.
He's not that great. He doesn't add wins to the team, and Josh Green does.
Okay.
What is Hardy gonna add to that team with Luka and Kyrie? What are you gonna get from a Jaden Hardy?
Luka's probably not gonna play, and Tim Hardaway is downgraded to question.
I'm just talking about in general. Like in general, what does he add to that team when everyone's there?
I mean, puts points on the board, man. He's a baller.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. He's not. Like if you ask Mavericks fans who watch Hardy play, like they will tell you that like he should be playing more minutes. Like I'm not about to like give Jason Kidd any sort of like credit here for not playing Hardy. I'm not.
Yeah. So J-Habs is ahead of the curve here a little bit in exactly what we were saying, where I was like, if we get these outs, that Kyrie becomes my 102. He's soaking it up at 105 now. He soaked it up at 104. There will be mindful of teams that exist that have him, at the 10 slot and stuff like that. But I don't think that deters me in any regard. I'd feel much safer if that Q tag disappeared, obviously, but so would everybody. So that's when his ADP will skyrocket. So getting ahead of that is real sharp structure there. And to be fair, we didn't say it was too high. We didn't say it was too high when it occurred. So now it makes it look real good. Ooh, look at this comp. Hardy is Cam Thomas.
I mean, it's a great comp. I can't fault that. It's a great comp, but
yeah.
I mean, It is interesting. I think in a full court press, like Hardy and Josh Green are like absolutely in play. If this Hardaway downgrade is for real and Luka's not in, I mean, it's a tough matchup against the Grizz, but Dan, is he doubtful now? Luka, or is that a doubtful tag on Luka now? Huh?
Yeah. So we got a doubtful and we got an out there. This would be an interesting decision at the corner because I think some things have changed, but things haven't changed greatly.
Evergreen
moment. Only the OGs respect. I think this corner, like, I don't know, does Walker Kessler push all the way up into this 12-13 range? Or does he become a third round guy? I think I still prefer Rozier and, maybe Bane. Did Bane already go?
Oh, he went right before us.
Did. I still think Rozier's the pick. Yeah, I think Rozier's
I do like Rozier
here. And then I think you have to now make the case of, Numi told us all the bad stuff about Vooch playing Embiid. We can gamble on the JJJ tag. Not over 30 minutes in his last 5 with Miles Turner, so I don't know what to make of that. But Numi still likes him. Gobert feels too early, and Walker Kessler feels a little too early. But maybe Walker Kessler's new ADP is going to be in this range.
Numi, do you think this like Markkanen out downgrade? Like, I feel like it doesn't bump Kessler up enormously. I don't. Maybe I'm like way off on that, but I feel like Markkanen doesn't really affect what Kessler's not going to drop 30 points now that Markkanen's out. That's not how he butters his bread in these contests.
Yeah, the upside for Kessler is always going to be his minutes seem to be much more stable around 30 plus, and it's always just the blocks that he can give you. That's the Kessler thing. And now with Lowry out, it's just less. You would assume more usage. Let me get this here. We got Clarkson, Sexton, and now Markkanen. Perfect.
Good rebounding matchup against Sabonis too. Like, Sabonis fills up the stat sheet, but he's not a big 5, and Walker Kessler's a big boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I'm curious now that Markkanen's out, what Kessler's rebound prop will be. I'm gonna guess 13.5.
Let's see here. Walker Kessler gets a 0.9% usage bump. That's it. And a 0.08%. So 0.08 points, fantasy points per minute. Small sample. Well, with all of these guys out, let me see if I bump one of these guys back on the floor because he barely plays. And see what happens here.
No Kyrie prop.
A lot more minutes. Yeah. Okay. So
no
this
Kessler
is a lot better.
Up. It must have ripped him right away.
Kessler becomes a 0.15 fantasy point per minute player better. So he now becomes a 1.35 fantasy point per minute player.
From
when
Clarkson
when Clarkson and Markkanen are out, he goes from a 1.2 to a 1.35 fantasy point per minute player.
Okay. Yeah. So he sees a 0.15 bump. You're right. Yeah.
And then in terms of like rebounding and stuff against the Kings, you already kind of hit it on the head with Sabonis. To get like the actual specific stats, it would be they're sitting at a 24% defensive rate, 24 out of 30 defensive, and then they're basically middling 15th in the league in rebounding. So, yeah.
So this is from DraftKings. Kessler's at 11.5 right now for his over. That's juiced to like -130, but Sabonis is the one who has 13.5. He's sitting at -110 for 13.5 boards over at DraftKings.
Wow.
So they're gonna be the only guys rebounding today.
I think we do Oubre.
I want a THT there. Yeah. Oubre, Caius, or do we buy the Christian Wood narrative now?
I like Oubre. I don't think many people are going to be pairing Oubre with Rozier because they're scared. Now here, this is where things get interesting. Numi, I like Tyus Jones here, but I'm curious on your take. If Ant is out, are we overlooking Kyle Anderson like a ton?
Yeah, so he obviously becomes like the primary playmaker. Like when he's there.
Just insane to say.
0.99.
Give me a name and
I like
discuss
Tyus.
After. Tyus?
Let's do Tyus. That's fine. Yep.
Okay.
It would have been Tyus or Kyle Anderson there for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not a crazy jump. Like it's just kind of Mike Conley takes a bigger role on offense. Kyle Anderson becomes a bigger playmaker. More than he already is. And then we've seen from slow-mo. The only thing that's kind of tough is they are playing the Knicks, who are 27th in place of play, 14th in defense, and they are second in rebounding.
Yeah, they're really big in the front court.
Yep.
Like when they run that unit of Robinson, Randall, and Josh Hart at the small forward, that's a good rebounding group.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So that's like, I guess that could be an interesting, maybe just kind of looking that into Rudy. I mean, we know Rudy's the freak and all that, but just going up against a team that's second in rebounding, it gives you a little pause, but it's still Rudy. You know what I mean? It's still just think of what, and he's been playing a lot better as of late. The whole Mike Conley edition, for fantasy wise, don't have to talk about for actual basketball. For fantasy wise, it has it has unlocked Rudy Gobert. You take away the primary playmaking and the shot creating, wanting to have the ball in his hands. Even though pick and roll was D'Lo's bread and butter, he's like, no. Apparently, he didn't gel with Gobert. Conley and Gobert have got it down, and Conley's it's better for
talk
fantasy.
About a dark horse on this slate, Mike Conley, by the way.
100%. I haven't looked into it to like officially see where that goes, but in the full court press, like I'm 100%. If Ant ruled out, no
surprise, they're the second lowest total, but yeah.
The projections I do have right now are already projecting Ant out. So what I have kind of in here is already where it's at. Basically, so like I have
baking
Kyle,
that in, I
have Kyle Anderson at a 35% or 35 median, 47 ceiling. That's baked in with Ant out.
35 median's pretty nice.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm just trying to I'm just looking at these slates, and looking how they basically the teams that are ended up in first, and a lot of it seems like a mix of teams that were drafted late with the most up-to-date news, or teams that swapped smartly and had Q tags in the bottom half of the draft while this I don't know. I use you an example, John. I see you have like 3-4 players that are very similar in like your top lineups, and it's just a couple of pieces interchanged, and it's just beautifully done. Like you had a nice solid 4 around it, and then you just had other guys that came in there, and like I've been saying, it's beautifully done. So just looking at how recent slates have gone, and not trying to look into too much history, but just going into sharp guys lineups.
The plays are the plays, man.
Yeah.
You guys want the play? Here's your last free play of the day. Last free play, according to me. Before the projection models update, I will bet my life this player is in the top 20, maybe 25. I bet my life this top 25 player in projection models in half an hour.
In his limited 65 minutes with Clarkson and Markkanen off the floor, he is a 27% usage and a you may need to, I know you're sitting, you may need to hold on to your chairs. 1.69 fantasy point per minute player. Again, it's only 65 minutes, but
wow. Call me a fucking hoops guy one time. Call me a fucking hoops guy one time. You don't think I know this, Numi?
Chris Dunn is such a dog.
Just go into the Discord. You just go into the Discord, buddy. We should just call the Hoops channel John's chat at this point.
Give me 28 minutes of Chris Dunn getting run over THT as the 6th round leverage that you need. I want to say one thing about the Q tag stuff just before we log off here and call our slate and wish everyone good luck and stuff. Do me a favor. There's still 40 of us hanging out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow. I have forgotten to ask today. I'm so bad at that. But one thing I want to say is we see this all the time. One news nugget gets dropped on Twitter. Then everyone rushes to draft. And all of a sudden it's like 10 straight drafts of all the sharp guys fighting over the same guy. THT, where does he go now? Walker Kessler, where does he go now? And we forget the auxiliary adjacent pieces to that. We're all fighting over the same guy. What's the auxiliary value now? Well, the value is no longer because teams are going to have 6th round THT. So the value is no longer there. Yes, his usage and stuff is going to be up. Projection models will update. He'll be a top 20 play. But where's our 6th round leverage if that occurs? Who's our new guy? Who's our new piece to whatever? I'm not necessarily saying it's Chris Dunn. That was a bit of a bit, but like it could be. It could, I mean, he's the profile that you want to bet on in the last round now as everybody else pushes up THT, right? So I just want to say that's kind of how I've been thinking about these games is everybody sees that news dump and they go, okay, Kyrie up, Kessler up, THT up. And yeah, they're right. They're 100% right. That's how the market should correct. But what's that last auxiliary piece when I lose that battle for those players, right? So, yeah, just something to think about.
You're not wrong. I mean, it's insane. If you jump in a draft right after a news dump or a news blurb, any blurb, it's just like, everybody else and their fucking dog had the same idea to rush into a draft after that.
Yeah, like and just on that note, like where does like if certain people, like there's still a lot of moving parts to go in this slate. Like what happens if we get another Q tag? Like we already talked about the Indiana guys. What if 2 of them are ruled out and Matherin's ruled in against the Charlottes or against the Hornets?
Right.
Like what if JJJ's ruled out and all of a sudden it's Xavier Tillman night against the non-rebounding Dallas Mavericks?
Good one.
Or if it's Santi Aldama. Or there's a lot of still moving pieces. So I think it's a chart for me because my initial reaction is to go in and build 10 teams that are exactly the same. But it's like, if everyone's doing this right now and this is going to be the new norm, like I'm just trying to fight to get value that's no longer going to be there unless you just sneak in that room that's non-badged up. And it's like at that point, good luck.
This is how we end up stacking this on this, and we end up with 3rd round THT. Well, I mean, it might be fine. He could play to his ceiling and it could be totally fine. But you guys fight over that because I already got some 6th round THT and maybe I'll get some swap equity later. Let me go ahead and see who the new target is. Who's the new guy now, right? So
yeah, and I think it's still fine to take. Don't get me wrong. I think it'll still be fine to take THT. Like I think at this point you're going to have to just eat it because I think he's still a fine play for me. Yeah. I'm saying that as I have 1 THT in the 5th round, and I'm sitting here with all of the Luka and all of the Lowry market, and I'm like, all right, we're back to the drawing board today, folks. After these 10 drafts, so yeah, for me, it's like I'll still probably try and push it and get him to where he is. I'll be cognizant of those teams that definitely have 6th round THT. But there's still so many moving parts. And like, I still think the value of having the swap options potentially available for you when the most news opens up at the end of the slate, like 5 minutes before the slate is technically the most optimal time to be entering and getting in lineups for DFS. But on our site, it's when a market is the most efficient, like theoretically. Correct. So it's like that's where the swap comes into play. And you see guys like Sam Olsen and T-Box and these players that eat the Q tags because if they're out, not really a big deal. They're just going to swap to the now best play available at that point in time. That's probably better than basically that's only worse than 10 other people. So
yeah,
sorry.
Which ends up being better than 4th round. Exactly. Sangoon or 4th round Jalen Green. Give me TJ McConnell starting. Give me, THT starting. Give me, anyways, good show, gentlemen. Good hoop stuff. Good luck to everybody tonight in the hoop streets. Let's end this with a bang here. I want to do a spicy one that we've never done before. Let's end it with a bang. I want each of you guys to give me an early round guy and a late round guy. That's the key to the slate. Let's just hit it right now. Nez, you got one?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Yeah. Early round, key to the slate.
Yep.
It's Jalen Brunson. I'm gonna roll with my guy. I think Jalen Brunson can be taken at the 1-2 turn, get some unique builds on there because people don't really like Brunson. My late round key to the slate. Let's go with TJ McConnell. I know that's kind of like a cheat code, but I think TJ McConnell against the Hornets is a no-brainer.
Love it. Numi?
Maybe it's a cop-out because it's a 1st rounder. I'm going to say Steph Curry is going to be the key.
No, that's
the key
that's
that
an early
you need
guy.
up there.
Yeah.
And then in terms of a late rounder, PJ Washington.
Like it. Cool. I'm going Kyrie Irving is the first round guy you need. I would have said THT before that marketing news to get ahead of it. I'm gonna say Dennis Smith Jr. Guy you need in the 6th round right now.
All right.
Guy you need in the 6th round right now.
Hey, and I do see Blake saying right here, win Nez Numi John 1v1v1.
Oh, that's fun.
Come in. I mean, next if we don't. I don't think they want to do it right now. Tomorrow we will start doing a quick little 3-man, just us 3.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Sorry, Wednesday. My apologies. Yes. Wednesday we'll do a quick little 3-man. We'll start a little scoreboard. See who the real hoops guy is, who the real baseball guy is. You know what I mean? Just do a quick little for the content 1v1v1 type deal.
Cool.
I will say we love the lovely people at Underdog. I think we'll do that on a Google sheet so we don't have to pay any rake.
No, too bad. Dude,
the rake on the 3-mans is just.
All right. Good
Ness
show.
doesn't want to enter
everybody.
that $3 3-man. Really hurting that 4.5K win over there, huh?
It's the principle.
Best behavior from Bop going forward. Good first day with Bop back. You love to
be
see
kind to everybody.
Yeah. Good luck to everybody in the hoop streets. We'll be chilling in the Discord the remainder of the day. If you're not playing on Underdog Fantasy, promo code MLB, 100% match deposit up to 100 USD. Good luck to everybody in the hoops streets tonight. We will be on the Underdog channel. If you are not subbed or following that channel, the link is in the bio below. We'll be doing baseball tomorrow there, drafting a dinger. Probably do some spicy hot take kind of stuff. I don't know. We'll discuss it later. See what we get into for the baseball stuff tomorrow. And then keep your ear to the ground because we're going to be doing a big Underdog merch giveaway. We're going to drop that tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, there'll be a little Google sheet associated with it and a couple tweets. Just your basic standard shit that you're going to do anyways, the retweets, the likes, help us engagement farm our way to more viewership on the new channel there. We good, gentlemen?
That'll do me.
All right. On behalf of Numi, Nez, myself, everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace.
What a troll. Oh, get me off of here. Make it just him. What are we doing, John?
Two.
All right. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.